Cool. And as you're ready, we're actually going to start in child's pose today. So I know that's not normal for me, but make sure both of your blocks are at the top of your mat and your strap is maybe off on the side somewhere. And allow yourself to just arrive in your space. If you feel okay practicing with, hi Anna, practicing with your camera on, that's cool too. And I'll come by and say hi every once in a while. But this is going to be a recorded class. You will not be on the video though. My video is pinned. So reach your arms out long. Anna, just letting you know the playlist is in the chat. So as you come into child's pose, reach your arms out long in front of you. And allow the elbows to bend so your forehead can rest on the mat. You can really collapse and allow the earth to carry you. One last time, playlist is in the chat. If you are just joining us, please play your own music as I will not be projecting the music today and or moving forward. So as you arrive into your child's pose, maybe wiggle your fingertips a few inches forward. Finding a little bit of length out through your side body and take a full breath in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. Again, big breath in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. And continue on breathing just like that. Inhale and exhale. With every breath in, feel your rib cage expand laterally. And as you exhale, notice as if that balloon is decompressing, getting smaller. Again, inhale. The balloon expands laterally in all directions, 360. And as you exhale, pull everything back in. And continue on here for just a few more breaths, guys, allowing for whatever went on today to be left off of the mat for the next 60 minutes. And for those of you who do participate or on my newsletter, this week we talked a lot about riding the waves of life. And that sounds really corny or cliche, but we are reading Wherever You Go, There You Are, John Cabot's Zinn in our book club. And one of my favorite quotes is about learning to surf. And so the waves of life are, small or big. It doesn't really matter. It varies day to day, year to year. It's not something we necessarily can control, but what we can control is how we react to those circumstances, how we react to those storms or those big waves or small waves as they come. So in practice today, when maybe it gets a little bit challenging, just observe how you are reacting, how you maybe physically react, how you judge or maybe don't judge, and let yourself just observe that. And as always, it's not a practice of whether or not you do one thing or the other, but simply an observation. I'll take one more breath. Begin to walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Place your left hand on top of your right. Interlace your left fingers into the webbing of the right hand and really drag the left sitting bone down and back. Feel the left side of your body open up. Big breath in. Smooth breath out. And then slowly walk your hands back to center. Walk them over to the other side of the mat. Place right hand on top of left. Interlace the fingers and really physically drag right sit bone back. Breathe into the right side. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly walk your hands back to center. Shift forward into tabletop. Just a couple cat-cows here, starting to warm up the body and breath together. Drop the belly, scoot the heart forward, cow facing. Inhale. Exhale, cat pose, press down into the thumb and index finger. Gaze between the legs. Inhale, belly drops, heart scoops. Exhale, cat pose, lift and curl. Maybe close your eyes, friends. Do a couple more like that on your own, feeling into your own body. Notice if one portion of your spine feels more mobile than the other. Can you start to isolate the portion that feels tight? For most of us, that's the upper thoracic, the top of the back. Can you find a little bit more depth? And on your next exhale, come back to that neutral tabletop position. Walk your palms forward 6 inches, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. So as you arrive in this first downward facing dog, take whatever fidgets you need. Maybe it's bending one knee, driving one heel down, and switching it out. But wherever you are, start to arrive in this relative place of stillness, rooting down into the palms. Grip the earth with the palms as if you're holding 2 melons or basketballs, mason jars, whatever you like. Externally rotate upper arm bones down and feel the low belly and inner thighs lift to where the upper wall and ceiling meet. Big breath in. Smooth breath out. Starting to ride the breath, inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. And then inhale, rise up high onto the tiptoes, shift forward into plank pose, shoulders over knees. Option to drop down onto your knees. I highly recommend it here actually, especially to build strength. Shift forward 6 inches, lower down, chaturanga push-up. Hug elbows into side body, press back up. That's 1. We're just gonna do 3 together, lower down, chaturanga, halfway, press back up. That's 2. Last one, inhale, lower halfway, lift the lower ribs up toward the sky, and then press back up 3, downward facing dog, lift the hips. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Big breath in. Smooth breath out. Rise up high onto the tiptoes and then ripple forward into plank pose. Shoulders over wrists again. So if you have any wrist sensitivity, maybe walk the palms out a little bit so that they're not directly underneath the shoulders, but a little bit forward. Drive the inner thighs up toward the sky and feel your heart pull through the gates of the arms. So rather than trying to lift up toward the sky, there's like a opposition of the crown pulling forward and the heels pulling back. As if you were a piece of taffy. Take a big breath in, shift forward, exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Bhujangasana, cobra pose, slide the palms back, inhale, baby cobra. Lift the crown of the head forward. Notice the elbows drag back, big inhale. Exhale, tap forehead onto the earth. Inhale, baby cobra again. Exhale, release it, tap forehead down. Last one, inhale, baby cobra. Come to your largest expression yet, or maybe press into the palms, coming into upward facing dog. Ground down into the L's of the palms once again. Press down into the toes and firm your outer ankles in. Downward facing dog as you release. Lift the hips up and back. Big breaths in and out. Slow and steady. And then shift forward into plank once more. Shoulders over wrists, bring your left knee to your chest. So same actions here. Imagine like the left knee is being pulled through your arms as the right heel is dragged back. Press into the palms a lot. Gaze forward, inhale. And then exhale, just drop your knee directly under your left hip. Lift your right foot off of the mat, reach left arm forward. We're going into bird dog. So as your right palm is directly underneath your shoulder, can you grip the mat again and feel the low belly lift? Reach arm and leg in opposite direction. Big inhale. Exhale, bring elbow to knee. Crunch it in. 2 more like that. Inhale, get long, expansive. Exhale, pull it in, elbow to knee. Last one, inhale. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, reach it out long. Release left palm down, release the right toes onto the mat. Pivot your left toes out to the left side of the mat. Modified Vashisthasana, reach right arm to the sky. We'll get to the fancier pose in a second, but keep the right foot grounded like warrior two. Ground into the knife edge of the back foot and just reach your right arm up and over your head. And as you do so, can you press down so much into the right foot that you feel your entire right side body open up? Big breath in. Hold it with the exhale. And then inhale, come back to neutral. So lengthen the left side of the body, lift the back foot off the mat. Bring your right hand behind your head, pointing the elbow to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, draw elbow to knee, crunch side body. Inhale, lengthen. Karate kick back wall. Exhale, pull knee and elbow together. Last one, inhale. With control, exhale, pull it in. Inhale, reach it out long, right arm forward, big breath, creating a letter T with the body. Exhale, release right palm down, pivot the left toes to face the back, tuck toes under a three-legged down dog kick. Dial down the right toes to the mat, press the mat away a lot. Feeling the lower belly lift, and you can bend the knees, stack the hips if that feels nice for you. But if that is where you go, keep your shoulders square to the earth. The inner knee lifts, big breath. Dial down the toes with your exhale, step all the way through low lunge. Drop back knee onto the mat. Slide your palms onto your front knee. Shift your weight back so the back hips are stacked over the back knee and reach your arms up to the sky. Bring right hand onto your right hip, or maybe extend the fingertips down to the mat. Take a big breath in. Exhale, side body stretch over to the right. And as you hold and breathe here, can you press into the back shin and the back toes? Revolve your chest up toward the sky. Find one spot that's unmoving that you can focus your attention. And then inhale, reach both arms up. Release palms down to frame your front foot. Lift your back knee. Step forward. Listen here. Slide your left foot behind and next to your right foot. So your pinky toes should be touching. Your ankles are crossed. If the ground feels a little bit far away for you, bring your blocks underneath your shoulders. Place your hands onto the blocks. So rather than hanging out on your hamstrings, can you engage the inner thighs and firm outer hips in as you fold deeper? Full breaths. And then inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Bring your hands onto your hips, firm inner thighs in toward one another, rise all the way up. Reach fingertips up to the sky. And same thing, you're gonna take a side body stretch, but this time grab your left wrist with your right hand, reach up and over toward the right. Ground down into all four corners of both of your feet. Feel inner thighs firming in toward one another. Big breath in. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms to the sky. And exhale, we fold forward, hinging at the hips. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, step left foot back, then right. Moving slow through a vinyasa together, lower down, halfway, pause. Upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, lift your hips. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Give yourself a beat here. Come back to the breath. Find that even flow of the breath. Inhale and exhale. We call it Samavriti, even breathing. And then shift forward into plank. Pull your right knee into your chest. Same thing, but on the other side. Ground into the palms. Pull the knee forward through the gates of the arms. Drive the left heel back. Last breath. And then set knee down. Lift your left foot off the mat. Extend right arm forward. So in this position here, your back toes are dialed down and your hips are aligned with one another. Your front hand is reaching forward. Let the thumb reach up toward the sky. Big breath. Exhale, elbow to knee. Crunch it in. Inhale, reach it out long. Exhale, crunch it in. Last one, inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, elongate, and then exhale, set right palm down, release left toes onto the mat. Pivot right foot out to the side, modified side plank, Vashisthasana. Reach up through the left fingertips. Same thing here, you wanna ground through your back foot and then reach top arm overhead. So you're creating a nice rainbow arch with your side body. Can you find that space in the left side, leveraging your back foot? And then slowly on your inhale, lengthen the right side of the body so you're not quite in that rainbow. Reach left heel off of the mat. Toes should be facing directly toward the left side of the mat. Big breath, reach. Hand behind the head, exhale, crunch side body. Inhale, elongate. Exhale, we crunch. One more, breath in. And we crunch it in, exhale. Inhale, reach. Find length, left arm extends forward. Exhale, release left palm down, straighten right shin back. Tuck the toes under, three-legged down dog kick. Keep dialing down the toes and then bend the knees, stack the hips. Feel the low belly lift. And observe the diagonal from the right palm grounding all the way up through the left knee. Come back to three-legged down dog kick. Inhale. Step through low lunge, left foot next to left thumb tip, drop back knee down, climb yourself up for crescent moon. Bring both arms to the sky to start. Again, pressing down into your back shin. Reach up through the fingers. Bring your left hand onto your left hip, big breath in. Side body stretch over toward the left. And as you do so, can you find a little bit of length in the left side body? So rather than crunching it fully, lengthen out the left side as much as the right. Rise back up, inhale. Release palms down to frame the front foot. Lift your back knee, step forward, slide right foot behind left ankle. So you're crossing at the ankles again, let the head drop. Draw right hip slightly forward, squeezing inner thighs. Again, if the ground feels far away, the blocks are there for you. So modify the postures to what feels right for your body today. Last breath. And bring the hands under the hips, ground into the feet, rise up with a flat back. Inhale, reaching arms up to the sky. Grab your right wrist with your left hand, reach up, inhale. Side body stretch over toward the left. It's a little bit of a balance challenge, so ground down into your feet. Can you pull the right hip forward as you drag left hip back? Notice if your booty's sticking out, lower the tailbone down toward the heels. And then inhale, reach both arms high, fold forward with your exhale. Halfway lift, inhale, step right foot back, then left, vinyasa, high to low plank. Upward facing dog, we breathe in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Take 2 rounds of breath. Starting to move a little bit more. Notice any heat that you're starting to build. Bend the knees, set the gaze, step, float, hop, top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, bow forward, down and in. Rise up, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, palms kiss. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart, Samastitihi. Close your eyes, press the thumb into the sternum, feel the sternum lift back into the thumbs. And notice the gaze pulls inward, a signal of shutting out or quieting, rather, everything that's going on around you. So you can really listen into what your body needs today. We'll salute the day with 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar A. First one together. Inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, plant the palms, step or float it back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. 2 to 3 rounds of breath. Come back to that ebb and flow. And on the next inhale, bend your knees, set the gaze, step, float, cruise, top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, we bow and we fold. Rise up, inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Keep the lift of the crown of the head. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, plant the palms, step, float, hop, vinyasa. Up dog, firm outer ankles. Downward facing dog, lift inner thighs up and back. 2 rounds of breath. So on this last round, you're going to do it on your own. I'll set you off, and then you can take your last area A. We'll all meet back in down dog. Bend the knees, set the gaze, and when you're ready, take flight. At your own pace. Start to dance with the breath. Big breath in. There goes my doorbell. I wonder who that is. And exhale. Land here, a few more breaths. And as you're ready, shift forward into plank pose. Walk the right hand forward about 3 inches. Pivot onto the outside edge of your right foot. Lift left arm high for visvamitrasana, side plank. So a little bit of a trick here in side plank. We want the big toes to touch, but a little bit of space between the heels. Can you pull the back of the head toward the right side of the mat so you're actually stacking shoulders, head, hips. And for many of us, we can pull the left hip slightly forward. Reach up through the left fingertips and then maybe begin to reach top arm overhead. Finding that same big body side arc here. Inhale. And exhale, come back to plank. Switching it out to the other side. Walk your left palm about 4 to 3 inches. Roll onto the outer edge of the left foot. Reach right arm high. So again, observe any small actions that you might take. Maybe it's collapsing in your hips. Lift the hips a little higher to the sky. Big toes together. Sliver of space between the heels. Can you pull right hip forward? And maybe stay here or top arm swims up and overhead. Feel the side body lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then inhale, right arm high. Listen here, friends. Exhale, bring right forearm down to the mat. Coming into forearm visvamitrasana, pivot the right arm slightly so you have a bigger base. Reach left arm back high to the sky. And the same thing here. Can you pull left hip forward? Drag the right shoulder blade down the back. And then inhale, reach top arm overhead. Lift the hips. Listen here. Exhale, drop the hips down to the mat. Bring your left arm by your side. Inhale, reach top arm overhead. Hips lift. Exhale, drop hips. Left arm floats down. Just 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. Last 2. Final 1. Inhale, back to regular side plank. Release left forearm down. Take a breath. Forearm plank. Ground down evenly into the forearms, and you're going to come to the other side. Bring your feet together. Roll onto the outside edge of your left foot. Reach right arm high. From here, again, reach top arm overhead. Can you arch the side body, creating a rainbow? Create space here, big breath. And then exhale, drop hips down, release right arm to side body. Inhale, reach, lift hips. Exhale, arm to the side. 3 more, inhale. And exhale. Last 2. Final 1. And inhale back to side plank. Regular, just reach the top arm high. Back to forearm plank. Parallel your forearms with the edges of the mat. Spread the fingers wide. Again, really grip the earth with your hands. Can you drag tailbone down? Pull heart forward. Keeping that space, begin to walk your toes in slowly, one toe at a time, coming into dolphin. We're not here long, friends, so ground down into the forearms. Can you wrap the triceps down, lift low belly, let the crown of the head drop, take one more breath, and then slowly at the same time, press up, downward facing dog. Nice work, guys. Full breath. Exhale. Bend the knees, set the gaze, step, float, hop, top of the mat. Halfway lift, elongate. Exhale, we bow and we fold. Bring your feet to hip width distance apart. Sink the hips down and back. Keep the fingertips on the mat. It's like you're coming into chair pose. Lift low belly. Send the weight back into the heels. You can lift all 10 toes off of the mat, spreading the toes wide, then place them back down. Reach the arms forward and then all the way up. Chair pose. So as you come here, can you sink the weight down and back into your heels? Lengthen the side body by reaching the index fingers up to where the front wall and the sky meet. Let the sit bones drop down and back to where the back wall and the floor meet. Take one more breath. Exhale, bow forward, hands to the mat, then straighten legs. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, plant the palms, step, or float it back through your vinyasa. Option is always to skip the vinyasas and just meet us back in downward facing dog. Full breaths. Right leg floats high, inhale. Exhale, step through low lunge. Spin your back foot flat. Preparing for warrior 1, draw right hip back. Just like chair pose in the front leg, you want that front knee fully bent. Reach the arms forward just for a moment. Lift low belly off of the front thigh and ground into the back foot a lot, just like we did in that side plank earlier. Rise all the way up, warrior 1. So here in the warrior 1, can you find that chair pose in the front leg? Sink the front of the thigh down toward the mat and let your torso rebound up and off of that thigh, up and off of the leg. Big breath. Keeping the right leg where it is, just open it up, warrior 2. Maneuver the back foot slightly so it's pointing more toward the left side of the mat. Can you continue to draw right hip back and open your arms out long like wings? Sink a little lower. Gazing over the middle index finger. Can you drive weight into your right heel and scrub it back toward your back foot? Gaze toward the side of the mat just for a moment. Lift your left arm up to the sky and bend the elbow so that your hand touches your shoulder or the top of the back. Notice if the elbow is pointing off to the side. Can you wrap the tricep forward so that the elbow is right next to the ear or your tricep is aligned with your cheekbone? And then from here, you're going to shift forward, place right elbow onto the thigh, reach the elbow up and over, finding the side body lengthening here, external rotation. Rotate the body up to the sky. You can stay like this or begin to drop right hand down in the inside of your foot for today. Notice how this feels a little bit more challenging with your hand on the shoulder. You have one more breath. I know we're all craving the full expression. And then straighten the arm out long. Nice, guys. Lengthen side bodies, revolve heart up to the sky. Take a deep breath in. Rise up to warrior 2, reverse your warrior, inhale. Maintain integrity in that front lunge just for a beat, and then straighten the front leg like you're putting on a long pair of stockings. Lift low belly, lift hip points, inhale. Exhale, triangle pose. Reach all the way out and down. Place your hand onto a block on the outside edge of your foot. Reach the left arm up to the sky. And the same actions here, friends. Drag right hip back. Lift and lengthen this torso forward and maybe reach top arm overhead if that feels right for you today. If you'd also like to hover bottom arm, that's also an option, yogi's choice. But find somewhere you can hold and you can breathe for 5 or 10 seconds, even if we were to stay here that long. I promise we're not going to be. But imagine if we were. Last breath. And exhale, release palm down, lift back heel, step it back, vinyasa. Up dog, breathe in. Exhale, downward facing dog, lift the hips, full breath in through the nose and out. Left leg high, inhale. Step it through, low lunge. Left foot next to left thumb tip, spin back foot flat. Again, preparing for warrior one. Pull left hip back, reach the arms forward. Imagining that front leg as your chair pose, drag left hip back, low belly lifts. Arms are framing your ears. And slowly rise all the way up with grace, warrior one. Stand tall into that back foot. Can you lift the inner arch of the back foot and drive deeper into your front lunge? And meanwhile, feeling the root to rise here, ground into the feet, lift up through the index fingers. Big breath. Exhale, open up warrior two. Keep the bend in that front leg. The front leg should not be moving. Draw left hip back. Back toes are probably slightly turned out toward the right side of your mat. Extend your arms out long. And imagine like you're pressing down on something that's resisting you. Feel the energy through the arms here. Couple more breaths. Again, observing your affinity for going deeper into challenge or pulling away. Find one more inch here. And then reach right arm to the sky. Bend your elbow, tap your right hand onto your shoulder. Can you really wrap the tricep forward so that's next to your cheekbone? Reaching the left arm forward, inhale. Exhale, you can place left elbow onto the thigh to start. Point the elbow up and over. So you're creating a long line of energy from your back foot through the elbow. Revolve the chest up to the sky. And you can stay here or maybe begin to slide the hand down into the inner portion of the thigh, the foot. And again, staying here or reach and find full expression. Extended side angle. The pinky tip is down and the thumb tip is up. Feel the heart revolve up toward the sky. Maybe close the eyes as you gaze up. Final breath. And rise up through warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Inhale. Keeping the bend in the front knee for a moment and then suction it up. Reverse triangle. Press down into the toe mound. Lifting the hip points. Big breath in. Triangle pose. Reach all the way out and down. Hand again can come on a block on the outside edge of your leg for today. Right arm extends up. And again, it's like that dance between a small micro movement and then coming back to the breath. So observe if you can move your body in space intelligently. So many of us, I know for me too, really crave the flow. But sometimes as we sit and hold and observe these small changes, that's when we can really observe and transform our practice. Last breath, top arm reaching over. Maybe you're reaching bottom arm forward. Any hyperextending knees, press down into the ball mound of the toe, front toe. And release palm down, step it back. Vinyasa. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, full breath in. And exhale. Moving into a little bit more flow now, guys. Bend the knees, step the gaze, step, float, hop. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, we bow. Chair pose, inhale, Utkatasana. Sink low, reach high. And stand all the way up, offer it up, hands come to heart center. Back to chair pose, inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow, fold, then straighten the legs. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, plant the palms, step or float it back through your chaturanga. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Step through low lunge, right foot next to right thumb tip, spin back foot flat. Warrior one, reach up. Exhale, warrior two, open it up. Reverse your warrior, inhale, paint the sky, right palm high. Exhale, vinyasa all the way down to the mat, step it back. You can always skip them and meet us in dog. Left side, left leg floats. Exhale, step through low lunge, warrior one, rise up. Stabilize, exhale, open up, warrior two. Reverse, inhale, let it be a dance. Exhale, vinyasa all the way down to your mat. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths. Bend the knees, set the gaze, step, float, hop, top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Chair pose, inhale. Exhale, rise all the way up, hands come to heart center. Moving through that dancing warrior sequence 2 more times. Warrior one, warrior two, reverse, chair in between. I'll do this next round with you, and then you can do the last one on your own. Chair pose. Fold forward. Halfway, inhale. Vinyasa. Right leg high, inhale. Step through low lunge. Warrior one, inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Reverse, inhale. Vinyasa, exhale. Same thing, left side, inhale, left leg high. Step through low lunge. Warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Reverse, inhale. Exhale, vinyasa, all the way down. Do this last round on your own. Maybe turn up your music, let it feel good. Add or subtract what your body's craving. Finish up the last side. These are looking awesome. Of course, if you want to just hang in child's pose, that's a good place to be too. After that last round, stay in down dog or take a break, drop the knees down, rest in child's pose. But especially after we flow, notice how you can use the breath to control the nervous system, to bring the heart rate down, to calm the body. Come back to the inhale and exhale. Moving into this last standing series together, gaze forward on your inhale, just step right foot forward. This is where a strap might come in handy. I highly recommend it. Spin back foot flat and rise all the way up, warrior one. If you're tighter in the shoulders like me, I recommend grabbing a strap, placing it in the left hand. And same thing, you're gonna drop the strap down the back, taking the elbow up to the sky, wrap the tricep forward, and then reach around the back side of your body, coming into Gomukhasana arms. So climb your hands up the strap. Notice if your ribs are popping out, can you soften them down? Breathe into the back body and observe the diagonal from your left elbow all the way through the right. Straighten your front leg on your inhale. You may need to shorten this stance a little bit. Exhale, pyramid pose. You're gonna stop halfway to start. Again, if this feels like way too much, all good, just drop the strap and bring your hands onto the blocks or frame your front foot. But if you're with me, continue to pull right hip back. Drag left elbow forward so far that the belly comes down toward the thighs. And maybe, just maybe, the third eye center or the space between your eyebrows reaches out and down toward your heel. Take a big breath. Rise up halfway on your inhale. Bend your front knee, spin onto the toes of the back foot, launch forward into a modified bent knee warrior three. Your hands are still in that Gomukhasana position. Can you lift your low ribs up toward the hand that's behind you? Drop left hip in line with the right. Draw left elbow forward. You have only 3 breaths here. Last breath, step it back to warrior one, release the strap, ditch it off to the side, reach the arms up, inhale. Exhale, arms come by the sides, interlace fingers behind the back, inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, humble warrior, drop right shoulder into the inseam of your right knee and let the head drop. Continue to pull right hip back. Maybe bend the elbow slightly so that you can focus more on the shoulders, less about the arms reaching down. And breathe. Last 2 breaths. On your inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, release the palms down. Listen here, you're gonna lift your back heel, toe heel your right foot out to the side. Turn around so you can see me and drop your back knee onto the mat. This is where we have a couple layers and we've come into our peak for today. So first layer, you're gonna come and bend your back foot slightly. You're just gonna take a modified extended side angle, right arm down, left arm to the sky. That's layer 1. If you're feeling pretty good there, hang out like that. If you're like, this is pretty easy for me, I'm looking for something a little bit more, you're gonna keep that back foot straight to start. Wiggle your right shoulder underneath your right knee. From here, then you're gonna pivot your left knee, ground into your right palm. So the palm should be right behind the ankle or maybe to the right of the ankle. Pop your right heel, grab for the outer edge of the foot, and you're gonna extend the leg forward. This is visvamitrasana modified. Lengthen the right hip forward, take a big breath in, and exhale, release the foot down. Wherever you are, straighten out the back leg, step it out, maybe rinse it out with the vinyasa. High to low plank. And we'll meet in down dog. Last side, last bit of standing, left leg high, inhale. Step through low lunge. Again, grab that strap, highly recommend. Rise up, warrior one. So in warrior one, bring the strap into the opposite palm, right hand this time. Bend the elbow, wrap tricep forward, reach around for the back side of the strap behind you. Can you frame your ear with your bicep? Point the right elbow up as the left elbow draws down. Breathe into the back body, inhale, and then exhale, straighten front leg. Maybe toe heel, back foot in slightly. Shift forward 6 inches, pyramid pose. Drag the left hip back. And really stand into that back foot a lot so that you feel the same weight in it like you did earlier in that side plank variation we did first thing. Any hyper bendy flexy people, lift your leg away from the mat, your calf, and then fold a little bit deeper for these last 2 breaths. Rise up halfway. Pivot onto the back toes, bend your front knee, launch forward, bent knee, warrior 3. So we're only here for about 5 breaths. Can you find your edge? Bend the knee like you're in that chair pose. Right hip drops in line with the hip. Left hip. Draw right elbow forward. Extend through the back toes. Last breath. And giant step back, warrior 1. Whew, thank goodness. Ditch the strap, reach arms high. Big breath. Arms release down, interlace fingers opposite way. Drive knuckles, inhale. Bound forward fold with your exhale. So allow the belly to come on the inside of the left thigh. Imagine like your head was a giant bowling ball. Can it drop down toward the earth? Stand into your back foot. Notice if your left booty's popping out, pull it in to the center. And then inhale, halfway lift. Release palms down to frame the front foot, lift the back heel. Toe heel, left foot over to the side, drop the back knee down. Again, layers, take what you want. First layer is just a modified extended side angle. Pivot the back shin, ground left palm, reach right arm high. This is layer 1. If the floor feels far away, I recommend staying here. Otherwise, layer 2, come back to that center position. Draw left shoulder underneath your left knee. Wiggle your hand behind the left foot, and then pivot the back foot to 45. Pop the front heel off of the mat, grab for the outer edge of the front foot, and begin to extend the leg forward. Visvamitrasana variation. Lengthening the right side of the body a lot. Ground into the back shin. Last breath. And wherever you are, release it down. Bring the palms back around the left foot and just step it back, either vinyasa to rinse it, or just meet us in down dog. Great work, guys. Full breaths. Inhale, shift forward into plank. Lower all the way down to your belly. Come into Sphinx. Slide the forearms onto the mat. Ground down into the pelvis and drag elbows back. Lift the chest. Notice here as you press the toes down, can you feel the low belly lift? Gaze over the left shoulder and then the right. Then come back to center. Release everything down. Stack your palms. Let your forehead rest on the palms. Breathe into the back body. Inhale. Exhale out the mouth. Again, breath in. Exhale, let it go. Slide the palms next to your low ribs. Just a little bit of back bending. Cobra pose, inhale. Exhale, tap forehead down. Interlace fingers behind back. Bound locust pose, drag knuckles back, lift toes, lift chest. Keep the chin tucked down and in, Jalandhara Bandha. Crown of the head pulls forward. Big breath. And exhale, release right ear onto the mat. Wiggle your hips side to side. Notice your heartbeat reverberate against the ground beneath you. We're going to come right back into the next one. Bring the forehead back to center. Interlace fingers opposite way. Drag knuckles back, lift the chest. Bound locust, round 2. Same action, imagining like you're a piece of taffy, get long. Exhale, release left ear to the mat. Let it go. Wiggle the hips. We have one more back bend. You can take another bound locust, or if you're ready to move on to floor bow, you can do that as well. Chin back to center, bend the knees. If you're taking the floor bow, otherwise do your bound locust variation, reach back and grab for your outer ankles. Activate the legs and then inhale, lift the chest, kick your shins back. Maybe begin to lift the thighs off of the mat. Drive the heels up to the sky. Big breath. And release it down. Stack the palms, let the forehead rest. Slide the palms underneath the shoulders, downward facing dog. Real gentle of a twist to counteract those back bends we just did. Just walk your hands all the way to the back of your mat and fold forward over the legs. You're going to bend into your left knee. Bring your belly over toward the right leg. Ground the left palm between the feet and just reach right arm to the sky. If you like to do other fancy things like dropping your hand behind your back for a half bind, go ahead and do that. Exhale, release, right palm down, switching it out, other side. Bring the hand between the feet, bend into the right knee, draw the belly toward the left leg, and then inhale, reach left palm high. Notice the sit bones pulling back as the crown of the head pulls forward. And the top ribs drop down and back as the bottom ribs spiral up. Exhale, palms comes down. And you're just gonna take a papa squat and lower all the way down to the mat. Nice work, guys. So we're gonna do a little bit of hips now. Starting with a either sukhasana or double pigeon. So depending on your hips, you can take either. Starting with the right shin in front for sukhasana, we'll all begin there. If this feels like a good place to be, you're just gonna fold forward. Otherwise, stack right ankle on top of the left knee. They also call this fire log pose because it looks like 2 logs are stacked on top of each other. So make sure the ankles and the knees are aligned. Ground the sitting bones and then begin to fold. I often like to place a block underneath my forehead. Let yourself fully relax here. Especially for many of us who work behind a desk or at home all day. The hips become very, very tight. So just notice what you're storing on this side of the body. What comes up for you. And how might you use this physical practice and its symbolism as a mechanism to test and learn for how you might apply the same practices off the mat.
And with every exhale, feel yourself melt and surrender a bit deeper into your pose, into the earth, without expectation. Slowly rise back up.
Switching it out to the other side. So you're gonna first start in Sukhasana all together with the left shin in front. You can stay here. Our option is to bring left ankle on top of right knee, stacking the shins. Ground the sitting bones and then begin to fold forward. Surrendering down and in.
Notice the rise and fall of your breath, the ebb and flow. As we come toward more of this yin side of the practice, notice how the breath is used in a different capacity. With every exhale, there is a release, a letting go. Slowly rise back up.
Straighten out the legs for a moment, coming into Dandasana, just shake it out. Moving into one more hip and side body stretch. Open up the legs for Uptavishta, wide-legged seated forward fold. So you don't need to do anything crazy. Recommend actually if you're super hyper bendy flexy to keep it a little bit smaller for today. Flex the toes so you can really ground into the sitting bones. And maybe even place a block on the inside of your leg. You're just going to ground your forearm down into the block or into the mat. Reach the left arm up and over. So all that side body work we did, just noticing where you are now. Probably quite a lot, a bit more open than you were earlier in class. If you're looking for something deeper, option is to take the right hand onto the top of the left thigh and grab the right foot with your left hand. It's okay if the hip lifts a little bit. Gaze underneath the left armpit. Slowly rise back up, switching it out to the other side. So again, you can use a block if you need a little bit more support. Forearm can come down onto the block and you're just going to reach up and over toward the left side, keeping the toes flexed. Lengthen sides of the body. For those of you looking for a little bit deeper of a stretch, again, you can place left hand on the inner right thigh, reach all the way up and over, and maybe grab your toe with your finger. Revolve the chest up as much as you can. And rise back up on your inhale. And just plop forward, reaching the arms forward. And again, a block is very handy here. If this feels very intense for you, an option is to bend the knees and walk the hands forward. Once that feels like a pretty good place, and you can start to straighten the legs. The intention here is to begin to come down the other side of the mountain. More of the rest and digest. Notice the breath. Return back to its normal cadence. And slowly rise all the way back up. If you have two blocks, For our final resting pose, you can take Supta Baddha Konasana. Otherwise, we'll all just meet in Shavasana. If you are doing Supta Baddha, you can bring the blocks underneath the outer edges of the thighs and just roll all the way back. We'll only be here for a moment. But whether you're in Supta Baddha Konasana or final resting pose Shavasana, allow your body to fully relax. Feel the shoulders wiggle underneath you. Notice the heart lift. Palms turn up toward the sky. I will call you out as it's time. If you're in Supta Baddha Konasana, slowly just release your legs straight so you're in full Shavasana. Keeping that stillness within, place your hands over the front of your body. Just feel that flow of breath in and out to the body, just like the tide coming in and out to shore. Knowing that this breath is here with you at any point in your day. You may feel anxious or tired or stressed. Use it as a tool, as a mechanism to bring you back into this state of peace and balance. And then reach your right arm overhead, bend your knees, roll onto your right side, coming into fetal position. And press yourself up, keeping your eyes closed. Cross-legged, seated. Hands come into heart center, Atmana Anjali Mudra, drop of the chin, down to the chest. Just a moment here in humble gratitude for this practice, for this body, for this breath, for this community. And slowly bring your thumbs to third eye. As always, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere know peace, love, and happiness. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, we bow forward. Namaste, yogis.